Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. So in this video, we are taking it to flight school, guys. We are going to the skies. We're gonna do a little flying, and man, let's just see what all it has to offer. Let's go! All right, guys, there's a ton to cover in this game. I'm not gonna be able to go over every little detail, but I am gonna go over some. Man, overall, it was a fun game. First of all, I haven't done a flight simulator since I was a kid or something like that. Like, for real, it's been so long since I played one of these games. I was kind of curious whenever I saw it coming out in the summer. So I was like, you know what? Let's just jump on it. Let's try it. So here we go. One thing I really liked was the flight school. I thought it was, because here's the thing, I haven't done it in so long, so like the flight school was like really cool to me. I'm calling it flight school. It's not actually called flight school in the game, but it's basically lessons, and it starts from basic and it goes to more advanced. And so, man, dude, for someone who hasn't played that in a long time, I thought that was a really cool feature. And honestly, guys, they didn't really take that long to do. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like, you know, several hours of doing these. Thankfully, it wasn't. The lessons were pretty snappy, pretty quick. It gave you some like objectives up here that you could do. So, man, I was super grateful that it didn't take a super long time to learn it. And there's so much to learn. Like, there are so many different knobs that do so many different things. So it was just like, man, it was a smidge overwhelming at first, but once you kind of got your feet wet, dipped into it, it really wasn't too bad. It really wasn't too bad. Landing. In the flight training, there is a landing section. There's a takeoff and a landing section. Guys, I only crashed one time during my landing. I promise you. One time, and the second time after that, I got it. So I was just like, you know what? I was a little patting myself on the back a little bit, because hey, you know what? It was kind of hard at first, just getting the general controls and kind of understanding the movement of the plane, and just how sensitive it was, and so many different buttons that you had that, from like trim, the rudder, how the flaps, certain gear, landing gear, kind of understanding all that. Man, it was you know, it was no easy task. But hey, you know what? I'm sure you guys are freaking experts. Man, I mean, even after like a flight or two, I kind of started to get the hang of it. I was still bumpy as crap. But man, where I had my controller settings on a different game, so like the sensitivity was crazy on that plane, and it was just like, I mean, it was like, and then, I mean, because if you just barely just tap that, if you just barely move that stick, man, it was like. So yeah, so I had to kind of change some settings and kind of had to mess around with that so that it wasn't so crazy. So the cockpit is wild. So once you're actually inside the cockpit, oh my goodness, there's so many. I'm just gonna read off some of what is inside these freaking cockpits, because it's wild. How many knobs and how many buttons, and obviously they change by plane, but it's crazy. Seriously, it's crazy. Tank transfer, ELT, CDI, speed match, speed and knots, altitude, trim, flaps, taxi lights, navigation lights, landing lights, avionics, brightness, headings, altitude, soft key, autopilot, pivot hit. Guys, the list goes on and on and on, guys. It was crazy. It was crazy. So man, that's another thing that I loved, is the amount of detail that they put into it. Another thing that I liked about this is the marketplace. Man, there's a lot to the marketplace. You can buy planes, you can buy other airports. One of the other really good things that I thought was kind of cool was there was a free section as well. If you didn't want to buy anything, or if you didn't want to spend any money, there's definitely some upgrades for that. So obviously, be sure to check that out. Each plane has speeds, weight, endurance, max altitude, and range. Those are just basics if you're kind of looking at the plane. All that stuff will definitely make a difference in how far that you want to fly. Maybe you're just doing a short distance. Maybe you want to do a longer distance. Obviously, be sure to get the right freaking plane. All right, because if not, then you're toast. It's just done. You're just gonna crash. Landing challenges was another one, and this was just kind of part of like some, basically it was like kind of like some different activities that you can do in the game, and where basically you just kind of you land at different airports with different conditions. So like windy or different weather conditions in different areas of the world, all that makes a difference. So I thought that was kind of cool that they like threw that in there. Honestly, for me personally, I would have loved it if they would have had some more little fun stuff to do. You know, granted, I know it's a flight simulator game, but if they would have thrown just something just a smidge different, or like fly in the air, you have to get to a certain altitude and you get like a little prize or something. You know, something like that. Bush trips is another one, and that's just seeing if you can navigate by the terrain. And just a feeling for the sky. That was just kind of part of the challenge is, hey, can you navigate the airspace without a map, basically? You kind of have a general idea. There's a pinpoint where you have to fly to. If you end up getting lost, then you can turn a button on the map and it would show you exactly where that your plane is. But yeah, you know what? I thought that was kind of cool. And that was called Bush Trips. Guys, that was another thing that I loved, is just the amount of detail that they put into each plane, to each cockpit, to the maps, to how you could go a million different places. Literally, guys, the world map was like super cool. So I did appreciate that, because if you live on another side of the world, if you live in the US, if you live wherever, you could literally find an airport on like the smallest of islands and be like, all right, I'm gonna take off from there. So man, bravo just for how amazing that they made that look, and just the views that you get. Like I wasn't even playing on like a super fancy, super nice TV or like anything like that, and it still looked great. Literally, it still looked great. It was beautiful, man. Like some of the stuff, and it looks so realistic. If you went to Naples or if you went to Arizona, you know, like, I mean, it was just crazy, the drastic difference. And you can see details of houses. There was like stadiums, guys. Literally, there is like all kinds. You could probably literally name anything, but you know, famous statues and all stuff, guys. And they were in it. Obviously, I didn't travel everywhere. You know, I wouldn't have enough time to do all that. I'd have to play this game for years probably. But man, dude, it was still just amazing how much detail that was actually in the game. And man, they made it look so good. So bravo to them, for real. Bravo to them. Guys, for me, I don't have a ton of experience in the flight simulator world. But man, I would imagine if you're like in pilot school, or if you're a pilot, or if you just love, I used to fly drones, and man, that actually would have came in handy for like taking like the drone test, because like, man, you could learn a lot just within this game. So from that aspect, hey, you know what? I would definitely try it out. For me as well, it was kind of like educational. I feel like, hey, if you just wanted to learn some more about the world and more about planes, there's so many details that I didn't cover in this that I think you would really enjoy. It's such a realistic game, guys. It really is. It is such a realistic game that I was kind of blown away just from that aspect of it. So if you like playing that type of game, dude, then this game is for you. Realistic as a mug. For real. Flight Simulator. Yo, if you liked the video, slap the like, give me a subscribe, and comment what your favorite part of the game is. If you played it, obviously. All right, until next time, peace.